Hello, everyone, and welcome to ADC Sports Dallas Primetime. I'm Mauricio Rodriguez, streaming with you every night at 8 p.m. Central. This time it's a Thursday show, so that means betting the Cowboys. It also means our blind recap segment in which we give our pick to the game as if we were recapping it on Monday morning after it already had happened. I love that segment. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And also, we'll talk about the Jaguars head coach vacancy because Kellen Moore has emerged as one of the top candidates for the job. And this is related to betting odds. So we'll talk about that as well on tonight's show. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Charlene Evans for being here. Burner account. Tonight's Micah Parsons comment brought to you by Tom Downey Burner account. The chief expert, of Micah Parsons is Payne. Also, shout out to none other than Kenneth Fraser over at Facebook and Charlene Evans starting us off with an interesting comment saying, my matchup to watch is Jaron Kears versus Evan Engram. And it makes a lot of sense with as many weapons missing for the Giants offense. Evan Engram set to have a big day for the Giants in terms of responsibilities. And Javon Kears has actually helped the Cowboys defense versus tight ends during the first few weeks of the year. The Cowboys were one of the worst defenses in terms of DVOA versus tight ends, and that has changed lately. They're not necessarily good, statistically speaking, against tight ends, but they are at least no longer one of the worst units in football. And also, Peter, Cowboys Nation, Stevie Mac, reminding people to hit the like button and, of course, share the stream if you haven't yet. If you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, let your friends know about ADC Sports Dallas Primetime. So without further ado, let's get the show started officially. Here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to ADC Sports Dallas Primetime. I'm Mauricio Rodriguez, streaming with you live every Sunday through Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central here on Dallas On Demand Sports Talk Network with a lot more content coming your way throughout the entire season. Make sure you check out adcsports.com/Dallas for more Cowboys content and, of course, for more Mavericks content. The Mavericks, by the way, difficult loss last night versus the Lakers, an overtime loss. So make sure you check that out. Of course, adcsports.com/Dallas. What is up, Richard, as well? Gilbert Rodriguez saying, hey, nobody can run the ball. And if we did pick up a rookie running back, let him run and see what we got for the future. Hopefully the Cowboys get the running game going versus the New York Giants. Burner account saying, I'd be okay with Kellen Moore leaving. Let Big Mike call plays. Let Big Mike call the plays. So actually, let's talk about that because I was just about to fall asleep last night when the news dropped. The Jacksonville Jaguars fired Urban Meyer. I think that it had gotten to the point in which we knew that it was inevitable and it had to happen at some point. But I'm still a little bit surprised that it happened so early. But at the end of the day, the Jaguars front office talked about regaining respect when the first issues for Meyer arose, and the exact contrary ended up happening. And it seemed to be getting worse and worse for the Jaguars. And why does this matter to Cowboys fans? Well, because they have one of the top candidates for the job. And this is actually not according to me or anyone like that, this is the betting market telling us that they are actually expecting Kellen Moore to be one of the candidates. And to me, the question from me to you guys is, in Kellen Moore's shoes, would you take the Jaguars head coaching job if offered? Because I think that would be the first thing that I would question about this possibility. And if you take a look at the screen, you can see that Doug Peterson is actually the favorite for the Jaguars job. Peterson, of course, taking a year off a la Mike McCarthy. Byron Leftwich from the Tampa Bay Bucks, the second favorite. And then you have three names tied at plus 500 odds in terms of Josh McDaniels, Kellen Moore, and Eric Bieniemy, of course, respectively. Now, the Patriots offensive coordinator, the Cowboys offensive coordinator, and Bieniemy. It is fair to point out that this is basically purely offensive-minded coaches. And this makes all of the sense because the Jaguars have a hot commodity that is a promising young quarterback. And we're talking about Trevor Lawrence, who at one point was described as a generational talent. And of course, he's struggling, but also his situation was pretty bad in the Jaguars, not necessarily because of the offensive line, but just the entire coaching aspect of things and his weapons for the offense. So you would think that the Jaguars are going to take an offensive-minded head coach. So my question would be that, if offered, and if you were Kellen Moore, would you take the Jaguars head coaching job? Burner account says yes. Kenneth Fraser also goes with yes. Peter Rizzo says no. Here's the thing, right? Roy Fletcher says, yes, that's the ultimate goal for coaches. A few weeks ago, more like months ago, I believe, we talked about Kellen Moore and him being an upcoming coach in the NFL. With Dak Prescott at quarterback, even though the Cowboys right now are in a slump offensively, with Dak Prescott at quarterback, Kellen Moore, and that offense, by the way, the fact that he's driving a Cadillac, he's in a pretty good spot to continue to have success as an offensive coordinator, hopefully for an extended period of time if he stays in Dallas. So a few months ago, we talked about Kellen Moore having to be patient and waiting for the right opportunity. With the Jaguars, it's a little bit of a mixed bag because on one hand, you're getting Trevor Lawrence. And make no mistake about it, even though the Jaguars are struggling, Lawrence has shown a lot of reasons. He has shown a lot of sparks that tell us that he actually has the potential to become the quarterback that many expected him to when he first got into the NFL. So if he goes to Jacksonville, if he ends up going to Jacksonville, he would have a great quarterback to work with. But then there's the other side of the coin, and that is that the Jaguars have been a bit of a mess over the last few years. Even before Urban Meyer, they have been in some pretty bad spots in terms of front office work, in terms of free agents leaving, in terms of rookies that they developed leaving for the team after their rookie contracts. So that has definitely been bad for the Jaguars, and that is something that he would need to consider, right? And then there is the whole other storyline that would be, Kellen Moore might be smart to stick around the Cowboys and learn the ropes for a little bit more, because we are seeing some struggles for Kellen Moore in the second half of the season, and this wouldn't be the first time that has happened. So there's a lot of decisions that go into this. I would say no. I would say no because even though I would be insanely tempted to coach a player like Trevor Lawrence, I would be a little bit concerned of going into that franchise. Stevie Mac says, if it means Kellen lives here, yes, please go to the Jags, Kellen, says Stevie Mac. I still like Moore, though. I gotta tell you that. I'm still, I know there has been some issues, but just like I talk about me trusting Dak Prescott to bounce back from the recent slump that he is, I also trust Kellen Moore to bounce back from whatever is going on with Kellen Moore and Dallas. Kenneth Fraser says, maybe next season, yes, for sure. Of course, we're talking about once the 2021 season is over, right? Because, it would be difficult to do it in December, for example. Of course, there are a lot of barriers that keep NFL coaches to jump around like they do in college at this stage of the year. That actually reminds me, there was a rule that was approved recently that allows teams to interview coaches that are currently on NFL teams over the last 2 weeks of the season. So this would mean that the Jaguars could interview, and they surely will. I would expect them to. They surely will interview Kellen Moore after December 28th, and the interviews, I think they can be up to 2 hours only. So maybe that happens, and maybe we have to deal with that in a few weeks, just like it happened with the Philadelphia Eagles last year. But that might happen over the past 2 weeks of the season. Randall says that he agrees with me. Thank you. That's the reason I say no, not till next year, says Kenneth Fraser. Mauricio, words are like gold. How much did I miss? We're just talking about the betting odds for Kellen Moore and whether or not you would take the job. And then there's the other story. If you were the Jaguars, would you hire Kellen Moore? Because he got off to a hot start, but we know that there have been some issues recently. Burner account says the Jags can run all the screens, jet sweeps, and up the gut on first down as much as they like. I do think that, Moore bounces back. He has shown some pretty good stuff. Listen, here's the thing, though, as well. And what is up, Stephen White? Thank you for tuning in to Primetime. Here's the other issue, and what I would ask Kellen Moore as soon as he got into the interview for the Jaguars. What would the offensive identity maybe would be for him? Of course, it would depend on what kind of talent he has in Jacksonville. But Moore was able to be as creative as he was in September and October because he had premium talent on the Cowboys. Things have gone south for him and the offense over the last few weeks. There's no denying that. But can he be as ambitious without an offense that talented? Could he be that ambitious? I think that would be one of the first things that the Jaguars would need to figure out if they were interested in bringing in Kellen Moore. And then, of course, there's the other things that are the non-X's and O's kind of stuff that you need to figure out as an NFL head coach. That includes dealing with the media, dealing with so much more pressure for the head coach because you're dealing with a lot of stuff. And that even includes the front office. Kellen Moore needs to trust Dak attack. Does he call? I'm sorry, I didn't know how to read that. Kellen Moore needs to trust Dak Prescott, is what Cowboys Nation is trying to say. Burner account says, Mo, Jason Garrett stole 10 years of our life. Offense is back to being plain and unimaginative. The Jags really need to fix themselves before trying to find a new coach, says Randall Northup. The point is what I would say is that it's difficult to fix yourself if you don't have the right head coach, right? You need a head coach to fix that. Kellen Moore seems like a Garrett story. They got figured out after a while, says Stephen White. I believe that it is too early to say that, though. I do believe that it is too early to say that. A lot of stuff has gone wrong for Kellen Moore over the last few weeks, I've been saying, but I think there's a lot of positives for him as well this year. We have seen him, continue to show new stuff week in and week out. So I don't know. We don't know yet what Kellen Moore's future will be. But I will tell you what, though. I do believe that he will remain one of the most popular coaching candidates in the NFL. And I do believe that it will be for a reason. And I expect Moore to be successful whatever he ends up at. Hopefully he doesn't leave. I actually am rooting for him to stay for a longer time here in Dallas because I would like to see him lead the Cowboys offense for a few more years. I am rooting hard for him to stay with the Cowboys for a few more seasons. But anyways, that's enough Kellen Moore talk for today. Of course, the Jaguars will continue to look for a head coach. And now we will move on as every Thursday night to betting the Cowboys. We are back to a winning record on betting the Cowboys, by the way. We are now 7-6 after we took the Cowboys -4.5 versus Washington. Actually, on Thursday, it was at -4. And then by Sunday, because I also publish this as an article every Sunday on ADC Sports, or every game day, more accurate, on adcsports.com/Dallas. And this time it's a difficult spread. It is -10.5. The total is quite hard to bet right now because we don't know what to expect from the Cowboys offense. And by the way, the Chargers just got the lead over the Chiefs right now. It is 10-14 Chargers. But anyways, -10.5 or the over-under. I thought that was basically my biggest question. But I am taking the Cowboys once again. And I have talked to you about this. I hate betting into trends. And the Cowboys have a great record against the spread this season. So I'm not a fan of taking the Cowboys spread, but I do believe that they are up for a big win. minus 10.5. This is not only me betting on the Cowboys defense that has done such a tremendous job, but it is also a little bit of a fade on the Giants, because the Giants are going out there with Mike Glennon at quarterback without many of their of their starting weapons on offense, and that includes Kadarius Toney, for example. And I don't see them doing damage versus this Cowboys defense. They have a lot of issues on the offensive line. We talked about them rotating at right tackle last week. We talked about them having some issues at left guard. Andrew Thomas is not a bad left tackle, but he seems to be the only decent offensive lineman on that offensive line for the Giants. And also, the Cowboys offense has been below average since the Broncos game, but this Giants defense, I believe, provides a perfect opportunity to bounce back. We could see a game in which Dak Prescott works from a clean pocket. This is the second lowest pressure rate in the NFL, the one that the Giants will provide. And I believe their secondary has a lot of weak spots. So I will take the Cowboys minus 10.5. Burner account asking, did the spread drop? Not that I know of. It has stayed there since it opened. And not even the COVID-19 news for the Giants has changed things. It has stayed at minus 10.5. I'm a little bit surprised by the number, actually. If this was maybe Daniel Jones, I would understand. But Mike Glennon, I don't know about Mike Glennon against this defensive front. So this takes us to our final question. Drop your final scoreboard for the Cowboys versus the Giants. And Stephen White is saying that he's expecting a 40-burger on this one. Chalk says 31-7. 28-13, says Richard. I'm thinking 43-14 Dallas is what Kenneth Fraser says on Facebook. Gilbert says, I bet on this new generation defense, Big D, 21-7. 44.5 says Stephen White. Yeah, that's the total. I didn't know about the total, by the way. I kind of was leaning towards the over, but I think that it is right on that sweet spot, that 44. I don't want to touch that number at all for this game. I really don't want to. For those of you who are maybe new to betting, 43 is a key number in the NFL because 43 is actually one of the most common totals in the NFL. So when the spread is right at that 43 mark or 44 mark, I tend to stay away from those games. But when it's at 42.5, then that's a good number, right? That's a good number if you're thinking over. Madden Simulator said 21-0. I'll pick 24-10. Here's my blind recap. As always, my prediction for the Cowboys game in recap fashion. So this is as if we just woke up Monday morning and we are recapping the game that we already, hypothetically, have already watched. So here we go. The Cowboys defensive front continued its dominance in the trenches after getting 5 sacks versus Washington. They got another 5 sacks versus Mike Glennon, including a 2-sack performance from DeMarcus Lawrence. Dak Prescott and the offense are not fully back yet, but they looked way better as they put up over 30 points on the scoreboard once again. Not a full bounce back, but a step in the right direction. Cowboys 37, Giants 20. That is my blind recap for Sunday's game versus the Giants. Hopefully it's not a tough one. I agree with Dallas Young because he's saying let's not get cocky about this game. It is a division game, and that is right. But I mentioned this last night as well. It would be fair to acknowledge that this should be an easy game for the Cowboys. That doesn't mean that it will necessarily be one, but we should objectively be expecting a big win by Dallas because this Giants team is pretty banged up. And even if fully healthy, the Giants should be an inferior team to the Cowboys. This is the NFL, any given Sunday. I'm not trying to jinx the Cowboys or anything like that. But as you guys know, the job when I'm on camera and in front of this microphone is to bring you my most objective opinion and analysis on the game. And that is where I stand. I truly believe that the Cowboys have the edge on both sides of the trenches. When they're on offensive line, I think they hold the edge over the Giants' defensive front, and vice versa. I think that the Cowboys' defensive front should absolutely dictate the Giants' offense game. And I believe that the Giants will come out trying to run the football, trying to ground and pound the Cowboys. But at some point, they will have to steer away from it if the Cowboys extend their lead. Brell Killer says, if we can't be cocky for this game, we I cannot finish that comment, excuse me. Dallas Young says, Anthony Brown always has a good game versus the Giants. Just letting y'all know he's going to get another pick six, says Dallas Young. This time, since we're playing Mike Glennon, I'm not going to offer an Anthony Brown jersey, though, for Dallas Young. I will till the end. It ain't over till it's over, says Gilbert. Short fields for Dak. Defense will control the game. Kenneth says, that's what I like about you, Mauricio, because you speak your opinion. That's the way I roll. Thank you to Kenneth. And that will also be the case when I pick against the Cowboys. And there haven't been many games like that this season. But you guys know that when in my opinion, the Cowboys are going to lose a game, I don't shy away from it. And I say that in my preview. And this is not me like not being a good fan or anything like that. But my role in this show is to be objective and be an analyst. So that's what we try to do here on ADC Sports Dallas Primetime every Thursday and every day, actually. Boys stomp the Giants, Stephen White. Barrel Killer says he could have 6 or 7 picks if he wants to. Hey, listen, Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is up for another big game, as always. Listen to this. I was looking at Micah Parsons' betting odds for Defensive Player of the Year. And in case you guys missed it, make sure you check out Tuesday's Primetime episode, because we jumped into some stats and I explained why Micah Parsons has my vote for Defensive Player of the Year, and actually why I'm going to sprinkle some money on his betting odds to win Defensive Player of the Year. Here's the thing, though. I have some numbers here for you. This is according to Sports Betting Dime odds. And in October 12th, the odds for Micah Parsons were at plus 20,000. That means that in the 12th of October, you bet $100 on Micah Parsons to win the award. You would have received $20,000 for each $100 if he ended up winning. Then December 7th, those odds, those plus 20,000 odds, went all the way down to plus 3,250. And then right now, December 14th, they are at plus 375. October 12th, plus 2,000. Right now, plus 375. Man, Micah Parsons is a top 3 candidate. And in my opinion, he should be the Defensive Player of the Year. A lot of football left to be played. But right now, he has my vote, definitely. Sunday, says Gilbert, the Lion will be turned loose. New York Giants, please stay inside. Please, he's hungry. Someone asked about the AV finger today. I didn't. I actually did not. I'm going to be honest with you, but I'm going to Google it right now. Not Google it, though. I'm going to search it on Twitter because I missed that. I didn't see that picture. I knew he was dealing with something, but is that like he cannot move it? Let me see if I can show you, and I hope that doesn't mess up the camera and the lighting here, but I will try to show you in the camera. That is Anthony Brown's finger. Apparently, he cannot move it. So yeah, I had seen that something happened to his finger. I didn't see what. Oh wait. All right, so I get it now. This is from last year. Like, his pinky finger has been messed up like this since last year. So this isn't a recent injury for Anthony Brown. This is actually something that he still cannot straighten that finger. Oh, that's crazy, though. Someone said that's Operation time, and that's actually what Michael Gelkin tweeted out. He said, if surgery, finger may not straighten. Woo! That's crazy, right? I didn't see that one. I knew this comment was coming, though. As soon as I saw that it was from last year, Stevie Mac says, explains why he can catch crap. Oh man, that's his burner account said. That's no chill from Stevie Mac. Anyways, Barrel Killer says Parsons already needs to go up on the Ring of Honor. Hey, if he continues to play this way, he at some point will be, right? Anyways, guys, that's crazy. I didn't know about it being an injury from last year. It kind of popped up in my notifications, and I thought that it was a recent injury. I thought it would be fine. Forgot to double check later, but hey, that was crazy. I had not seen the picture. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining ADC Sports Dallas Primetime. Do me a favor and hit the like button. Share the show if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. Let your friends know about Primetime. Leave a like. And if you like this video, remember, this will show up in more Cowboys fans' YouTube feeds. So do that on Facebook as well and Twitter. Do that so we can get more Cowboys fans in here and increase the Primetime experience. Stevie Mac reminding you as well to visit adcsports.com/Dallas. There is a lot of Micah Parsons content up there, including the stats that make, in my opinion, Micah Parsons the defensive player of the year. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter at MauNFL, MAUNFL. And by the way, next week I will talk to Carlos Nava from ESPN on an interview that I will do in Spanish, but I will bring you the latest regarding the Cowboys' potential Mexico experience and the possibilities of the Cowboys getting a home game a game in Mexico, maybe in 2022. Shout out to Kenneth as well, Charlene Evans, Chuck, Steven, Jessica Villarreal over at Facebook. All of you guys, thank you for joining the show. I appreciate you all. Cash, just one more question. He says, Cash, where is Parsons most dangerous? I think it's when it's attacking the middle. I don't know. That's a good question. Because I like the results that he's found when rushing that A-gap. But there was one game, I cannot remember which one it was, in which I didn't like it. And I actually was kind of hating the Cowboys' insistence on him rushing over the middle. So I'm not entirely sure. I will say on the edge, because I believe that Micah Parsons' greatest strength when rushing the passer is on that edge because of his speed. He has insane speed. So I will say that on the edge, rushing the passer. And Pipiti Powell says, I see you replacing Carlos Nava when he retires. I appreciate it. Anyways, guys, thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Primetime. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the show. And I will see you Sunday night, 8 p.m. Central, hopefully, to discuss a Cowboys win. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.